Bro, you gotta check this out. This is a half-minute gun. All day, bro. You gotta see this thing. Be honest. No, I'm serious, dude. It's a half-minute gun all day. I shot a half-minute group just the other day. Just like half-minute group just the other day. Be honest. All right, I shot a half-minute group one time, but I could do it again. Totally. There it is. Attaboy. Come on, you know you always throw the flyers out. You never count them. I know you. I know me. Welcome back to the shop again. One of the more difficult things I think to do for riflemen, shooters, whether you're a precision shooter or a hunter, or somebody who just likes to tune and load and that kind of thing for precision rifles or just general rifles, whatever, is being honest with ourselves about our results when it comes to velocities and actual precision and accuracy. I think too often there's a habit or a desire to kind of pad the numbers when it comes to your group sizes, the velocities you're getting, and kind of optimistically looking at or discounting, you know, the negative effects you get on target, the negative effects you get when you're shooting your group sizes. Like, it's easy to look at the groups and see one or two groups you've made with any given rifle that were really cool, like a sub-minute group, 3/4 minute, half-minute group, and call that, like, that's the gun. That's what, you know, cool, that's what this gun does all day long, bro, all day long. I can get them half-minute groups all day. Because we tend to exaggerate the high accuracy potential of anything in our minds, or at least in our desire for a rifle, and overlook the truth of the math. And I think if you do that, you're doing yourself a disservice as a shooter, of truly understanding and getting a really, really strong foundation and capability of your capabilities, and really understanding where your kinks are and your quirks are, and where you might need to work some things out, whether it's the load, whether it's the rifle, whether it's you as a shooter. Backing up from just looking at the best groups you got out of any given rifle on any given day, it's better to take a broad picture, as much as you may not want to. I said, you know, jokingly in my last video that I had a really bad flyer, and I knew it was me. I knew I pulled it, and I said it doesn't count. What I meant, my meaning behind that is that the flyer counts, but the group doesn't. Okay, so the group doesn't count as an accurate depiction of, you know, that rifle sucks, this rifle's horrible. It is an accurate depiction of my failure or my fault as a shooter, if that makes sense. Like, and so it does count in that aspect. You need to count your misses as well. You need to count your failures and shortcomings and the actual truth of your rifle. And you need it over a broad spectrum test. You can't just cherry pick one or two groups out of a rifle and a load in any given day and call it like that's what this is a 1/4 minute gun, or this is a half-minute gun. It really doesn't matter if the gun itself is half-minute if you as a shooter cannot shoot it half-minute. If you are not capable of squeezing all of that accuracy out of the gun and all the precision out of the gun with your biomechanics, with your fundamentals of shooting, and with your breakdown and how you actually, you know, process and do things, and in the positions and in the actual environments that it's going to be relevant, then you're doing yourself a disservice by not tracking those truly. So here's my advice. As painful as it may be sometimes, always tell the truth with your groups and your failures and shortcomings, and track them. That's the best way to improve as a shooter, is to actually know where you're coming short. Now, I'll get into this in a different video, but there's a difference between bench rest accuracy and field accuracy. So there's bench rest mechanical accuracy. How accurate can this rifle actually shoot with the best load I can develop for it, the best setup I can get for it, what's the stock and the bullet and the powders and all this stuff. How accurate can I make this thing shoot mechanically? And in just considering just the terminal and internal and external ballistics of the bullet and gun and rifle combination, right? That's very important. You need to track that. And you need to eliminate as much of the variables that you input to the rifle that cause negative effects as you can when you're trying to get that baseline. Okay, so that's your baseline. Just how mechanically accurate and precise is this rifle, scope, and ammo combination. The second part of that equation is you, the shooter, and the positions and the field conditions that you're going to be shooting in. So your atmospheric conditions, your biomechanics, if you've got an injury, like, you know, currently I'm sitting here with a back injury, so I'm not moving very fast today. But where are you at in the field? Are you on a bipod, tripod, over barricade? Are you under barricade? Are you hanging upside down off a tree or something goofy like that, like they do in Hollywood movies? That all matters in the actual practical accuracy of your rifle and you, the shooter, as a combination. And the best way to track that is to just try it, as to shoot in different positions, get your loads developed, get your your mechanics worked out with the rifle itself, get the bench rest accuracy worked out, and then go out and develop a shooting protocol and a training protocol on the range and track accurately your results, no matter if they're great or bad. Track them and then take that average and see where are my shortcomings here with the group sizes. Why are my groups opening up in this area? Why am I getting, where I may have a 3/4, let's say a 1 minute rifle. Okay, let's just say you have a 1 minute rifle, 1 MOA rifle. You know that the rifle and load combination can consistently shoot 1 MOA, and you've proven that on the bench with eliminating as many factors as you can of yourself and your input, and making it just as precise as possible for gaining that data. And you've taken long shot strings. So you have 20, 30, 40 groups down of this rifle and ammo combination, and the average is 1 MOA or better. Call that confidently a 1 MOA gun. Okay, so you've taken that 1 MOA gun, but when you go out to the field to shoot it off your tripod or off the bipod, or it's sandy conditions or sunny conditions or cold or windy or whatever, you're not getting those results. You're getting 1.25, 1.5 minute. Where's the problem? That's where you need to find the problem and eliminate the variables that are causing the negative effects in the bigger group sizes in your rifle. And it doesn't even matter if it's a 1 MOA gun or a half a MOA gun or 3/4 MOA gun. Say it's a 1.5 minute gun. Confidently 1.5 minute, but you can't shoot it any better than 2 minute. You need to find the quirks and the kinks in your mechanics and your setup and your system, and just your shot processes and stuff like that, how you actually break down a shot and take that shot to start eliminating those, to fixing them, to correcting them, to growing as a shooter. So truth is the best medicine for growth as shooters. Where are the problems? What do the groups actually tell you? What do the velocities actually tell you? Why are you making misses at such long distances? Why are you making misses when you're sitting there shooting groups on paper? Why are you making hits at long distances, but you can't group for nothing on paper? Okay, you just got to be able to learn to tell the truth. And I think it's one of the hardest things for riflemen to actually do, shooters actually do, because we all have that. I think it's a desire to appear better than what you actually are, or your rifle to appear to be better than what it actually is. And it's almost always followed by some false humble brag about when I'm doing my part, you know what I'm saying? When I do my part, the gun can. It's a humble brag. There's no virtue in it. Just tell the truth in your group sizes. Tell the truth in your data. That way you can also eliminate variables very easily. Like, okay, I have shot this load that I thought was good because I got a half-minute group out of it one time on a 3-minute group or 3-round group. So I said, all right, great, I'm gonna load up a bunch of those. That's my load, and go for it. But then you start shooting five shot groups out of that sucker, or you shoot it for a couple months after loading 200 rounds of it, and you don't get anywhere near the same result. It's because you didn't tell the truth right up front. You cherry-picked one group out of maybe the 3 or 4 you tested and said, oh, this is a half-minute load. No, it wasn't. That was a fluke, man. You got 1 half-minute result out of a small subset, a small data set, when you needed 20 to 30 more to really tell the truth of what that gun and the load with that gun can do, and then get that thing zeroed on that load and where it's going. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes a lot of work to get into the minutia and to get into the tedium of truly tuning in a rifle to precision with you, the individual behind it. So always just tell the truth. It's the easiest thing to do, and as painful as it may be sometimes. You're like, man, I am shooting 2 minutes today, 2.5 minutes. I'm whipping flyers all over the place and I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. But that's the truth of that day. Figure out why and eliminate the variables and learn and train through that and tweak the loads, tweak the rifles, whatever you have to do along the way. But it's easier to do if you can truly, objectively, instead of subjectively looking at your stuff, but objectively looking at the data you get from your rifle and then going from there. Y'all be good out there. Stay safe, have fun, and get out and do some shooting today.